Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to show you the new updates that Cricut Design Space is rolling out. It is currently on the beta version and will slowly be rolling out to all users in the coming weeks. So let's see what's new in this update. They have added some new actions such as Unite, Subtract, Intersect, and Exclude, as well as some new improvements to the layer panel. Let's go ahead and see what all that means. So once in Design Space, you can notice a few changes. First of all, the group button became one. So there were two buttons before, which was Ungroup and Group. Now they're not highlighted because I'm not selecting any shapes. So once I select shapes, see, everything becomes clickable. So also there used to be the names under each of these buttons. Now it's just once you hover on top of it, you can see this is Group, this is Duplicate, which was there, and Delete. If your items are not grouped, this will tell you to group. So let's just click that. And now that this is grouped, as you can see, it's all under one group. Once you click on it again, it tells you here ungroup when you hover on top of it. And that just means that these shapes are grouped. Let's just click ungroup. Another thing you'll notice is that the Weld button is no longer there. Now this is over here, and this is where all the new options are. So let me just go through what these options do. The slice action was already there before, but I just wanted to show you all the actions and what they do. So for the slice, you need to only have two shapes. And once you click on both the shapes, everything becomes active and you can click on them. Now what the slice button does is it basically slices your shapes. So once I click on slice, it's going to slice through all these shapes and I'm going to have all these pieces sliced apart. So as you can see in the layers panel, all these shapes, each one is one layer. So it's exactly what it is. It is just like slicing a cake. You're slicing little pieces out of shapes and you need to have two shapes at a time so that you can slice. Now let's go to the next one, which was Weld. Weld basically is to make all the shapes as one shape. If you can see here in my layers panel, there are 4 different circles right now. And where you can find Weld, and that's where they put the new button, is right under Combine. It's going to be the first button right here. If you click on Weld, it becomes one simple shape. See, it tells you here Weld result. Now this you cannot undo. The only way you can undo that is by clicking on the undo button right then and there. Otherwise, if you go ahead a couple of steps in your design, you're going to have to keep undoing everything until you reach the point where you want to undo your Weld action. So this is what Weld does. Now what Unite does is, let's just highlight all the shapes, click on Combine and click on Unite. It's exactly what it says. It did unite all the shapes over here. However, if you look on your layers panel, each shape is still individual on its own layer, which means you can still undo this action. But look, it is still one shape, but I can still move the circles around. So it's sort of an editable form of Weld. Now, let's go to the next one, which is Subtract. Now, for the Subtract action, we are basically removing anything from the lower layer that we cover with the top layer. Let me tell you what that means. You see here my yellow circle. This is my main basic layer, and I want to subtract this bit out of it. So it's going to look like a shape of a moon. So what Subtract does is, let's just click on Subtract, and it removes that circle. So it basically cuts a shape out of the base layer that you have with whatever you have on top of it. So just like the previous Unite, it's also editable. So if you look in your layers, here it tells you this is your subtract result. You have the circle that you removed, that you subtracted from the base circle that you have, and you can still move that around. And then once you click out, you get the new result. So it's editable and you can come back and make edits at any point. And the awesome thing is you will be cutting this shape out. It will not be cutting out the other circle. What you see is what's going to be cut. So next is Intersect. Now what Intersect does is it basically gives you the result of the intersection between the objects that you're choosing. So let's choose these two circles, click on Intersect, and you're going to get that almond shape in the middle, which was the intersection between the two circles. Your result comes up here in the layers panel, and as you can see, again, editable. You can move it around and you will get a new result. And your cut shape will be exactly this without the other circles that are going to be hidden in your layers. Now let's go to Exclude. Once we highlight, click on Combine and then Exclude. It's basically the opposite of Intersect, and it's going to exclude the part which is in the middle, which is intersecting. It's going to make it hollow. So it becomes like this. Let me just bring my grid up so you can see it's hollow. You see that? You can see the lines behind it. And also it's editable. You can still move your circles around. And here's your shape that you can cut at the end. Now, the update I was most excited about was the ability to change your layers names. This helps you so much if you have so many layers and you need to know which layer is which. This way you get organized and you know where your layers are. Sometimes projects can get very messy very quickly. So you just double click and you can change your layer to whatever name you want. And it changes. Now, there's a character limit to this, which is 50 characters, but I highly doubt that anybody's going to input more than 50 characters for a layer name. Now, also to the layers panel, you can now make the size bigger or smaller. This way you can see the name of your layer if your name is a little bit longer than it's supposed to be. So I'm very excited to be using these options in Design Space because these used to be the options I use in a third-party software, which is Adobe Illustrator, since I'm a graphic designer. And these options were native to these softwares, and I used to do all the things outside in the software and then bring it into Design Space. But now Design Space makes it so easy to make designs in Design Space itself. And I can't wait for even more and more awesome updates. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial about all the new updates that Design Space is coming up with. Thank you for watching, and please follow and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.